Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be focused on solutions, particularly how these solutions pertain to MGTOW, and here's what I mean. You know, a lot of people who watch these videos and make comments, I remember I was reading one of the comments or a few comments and it mentioned about how MGTOW points out the problems, but they don't offer solutions, and I just sort of wanted to talk a little bit about that and how that's wrong. We do offer solutions, and what I mean is it's just like the scientific method. How do you solve a problem? The first step in solving any problem is first admitting there's a problem and then effectively identifying the problem. So let's say a problem is that in the contract of marriage you have to fork over at least half of your assets. That's identifying the problem. The next part is the question, or that would be the first part, stating the question, which is, how do I avoid forking over half of my assets? And then you start thinking about possible explanations to explain this, and you arrive at, after a series of observations and examining others, you arrive at the solution, and the solution is, don't get married, don't put a ring on it. And even though MGTOW mentions this, I think a lot of people overanalyze and overthink it. They say, but what if this and what if that? But the thing about it is, the only one who's really standing in the way of any of these solutions is the individual. MGTOW offers plenty solutions to problems such as how to avoid child support. The question at hand is, how do you avoid child support? And the solution is really quite simple. I mean, it's not terribly hard. The solution is, don't have unprotected sex. You could do you can completely withdraw from sex, and it's pretty hard to have child support without kids. So unless you have kids, or unless you get involved with somebody who does have kids, who you mistake for your kids, you just won't receive child support, So right there is a solution. The solution to, avoiding child support is, don't have unprotected sex, don't have kids, and avoid single mothers with kids. So there's about 3 solutions to your problem right there. And the thing about it is, I think what a lot of people, especially the newcomers, don't understand about these solutions is they're not hard solutions. Anybody can really, partake these solutions, but it's up to you. And you have to consciously want to make that decision. And until you decide you want to make that decision, you're the only one that stands in your way. But to say that MGTOW doesn't offer solutions to problems is the furthest thing from the truth. A lot of MGTOW offers solutions to problems. Another example of this is alimony. You know that in marriage, if it goes sour, you'll end up paying alimony, so you've just identified the problem. Now, what's the best way to avoid that? You start thinking. And what you come out with is that it's pretty hard to end up paying alimony if you never, undergo marriage or sign the dotted line. And it's almost like the horse analogy. What's the best way that I can avoid falling off a really wild horse? Now, one, you can create a series of magnets. This is hypothetical. This is out there, but you could have a series of magnets on the seat and magnetize yourself so you don't fall off. You could tie a rope down on some part of it so you have a better grip on it. Or the best solution of it all is just don't get on the horse. Now, out of all solutions, the best way not to fall off a horse is don't ride the horse. And the same thing goes for many of the solutions that MGTOW bring up. So I don't really quite understand why it is that some people say that MGTOW complain and they just point out the problems and they don't give any solutions, when The solutions are really right there. They've been there the whole time. But the problem is, I think a lot of the newcomers and this, that, and the third just don't. They overthink it. They overanalyze it, and that's what causes a little bit of a distortion. So, in this video, I just sort of wanted to highlight on the various solutions that MGTOW gives, because they give solutions. But the thing with MGTOW is it has to come from within you as an individual man, because a part of being a MGTOW is an individual. Individualism is a big concept of MGTOW. Now, that newcomer may think of a solution that's different from what a MGTOW may have said, and that's great, but MGTOW gives plenty of solutions. And the simple one is, if you don't want to fork over half your assets, if you don't want to end up with alimony, and if you don't want to be, dragged down financially for the next 20 or so years, don't get married. It's that simple. It's not really complicated, but, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. But MGTOW gives solutions, okay? And for those who say MGTOW don't give solutions, haven't been paying attention. MGTOW's given solutions on so many different subjects that I can't even count them all on one finger. How to avoid alimony, how to avoid child support, how to avoid being manipulated. It's all there. The truth is all in the pudding. But it's up to the individual to apply this or not, or to apply this to their individual mind or life. Because, like I said a few moments ago, a big part of MGTOW is individualism. And that's why we're decentralized. So, this video was just meant to highlight on the topic of solutions to many problems in Western society when it comes to gender relations. I could think of another solution to something right off the back. If you don't want to play chivalry in the dating scene, you could be straightforward with your partner and just say, we'll pitch in halfway. Or you could simply just decide to refrain from dating. I'm not saying you should do that, but that's up to the individual. But just because you don't agree with that doesn't mean that's not a solution. It just means you don't agree with it, and you are looking for an alternative solution, which is fine. But to say you don't give solutions wouldn't be a true statement, because I just did. So that's just what I wanted to briefly highlight in this video, and just sort of bring to the attention, because if you look at Sandman's videos, if you look at some of my videos, a lot of other, MGTOW YouTubers like Neo Unplugged and Scotty3861, etc., etc., there's always a mention of solutions to take to problems. But it's all up to the individual to make the adjustments accordingly if they want to. And just remember, all you newcomers, and even my fellow MGTOW, the only one who really stands in the way of a solution or a possible solution is you. But you can overcome your obstacles. Thanks.